What's going on, y'all? My name's Emmett, and this is my YouTube channel. What I'm gonna do today is show y'all how I turn this
Won't you get out, get out of reality.
into this.
Won't you get out of reality.
I first started by zeroing in on the lead vocals here. So what I did first, I just added some auto-tune here. The beat was in the key of A flat major. I put the retune speed to 10, flex tune to 5 so that it wasn't so wavy, and then I humanized it 15, again for the waviness. Next I added an EQ just to mainly boost the highs and get the mix started. Then I added some warmth to the vocal. Basically what this is doing is just taking away any harshness in the vocals that might have been there. The next thing I added was this Vitamin multi-band compressor to kind of boost the harmonics by raising up the high end in the vocals. Then I added this de-esser and this de-esser, and basically what this is doing is taking out the harshness in the T's and the S's, because there can be like some whistles in there, and that's not going to sound good on the vocals when you're enhancing certain things. This R channel plugin is acting as another EQ as well as a noise gate to remove any background noise. It's also compressing at a threshold of -13.4, which is basically going to ensure that the vocals are going to sit properly on the beat so that they're not too loud or too soft. And lastly, on the lead vocals, I added reverb. Now this is just to add some ambiance to the vocals so that they're not boring and just sitting dry on the beat. I also added RVox. This is a really good compressor, but it also acts as a great noise gate to remove background noise. Altogether, this is how the lead vocal is going to sound like.
Time to cut.
So now on to the dubs for the hook. What we started with here was the same as the lead vocals. We started with some EQ, a little bit of compression here, and a noise gate. This second EQ that I added is taking out more of the low end here, and then I've boosted some of the high end to add a little bit more crispiness to the vocals, because you don't want it to sound exactly like the lead vocal, or else they're just going to mesh together and it's kind of going to sound like one, and it won't they won't blend together. Here's a little bit more compression. What this plugin is doing is spreading the vocals a little bit left and a little bit right so that the track will sound fuller. I added a larger reverb to the background vocals to kind of contradict the lead vocals, because if they have the same reverb, then it's just going to mesh together and it's not going to sound as great. And then lastly, I threw a de-esser on there. When it comes to de-essing background vocals, what you're going to want to do is lower the threshold and lower the range more than the lead vocals, because if those S's are meshing together, it's ultimately not going to do as much as it could be doing in terms of subtracting the harshness in the S's and the T's. And these are what these two sound like together. Now, lastly, for the hook dubs, there was one more recorded, but because it was only recorded once, I couldn't pan it left or right. So I added this doubler effect, and basically that's just spreading all the way to the right and all the way to the left for this one vocal. Other than that, it's pretty similar to the other ones. I just didn't add any reverb to this one. So this is what this one sounds like. And this is what they all sound like together.
Time to cut.
For the verse, I did the same thing as the hook. The lead vocals are the lead chain for the hook's lead vocals, and then the two dubs are the same chain as the dubs for the hook. And this is what they all sound like together.
Artists live have complications.
Lastly, we have the ad-libs. Here I started with some EQ to create a telephone effect. With this EQ, I took out some of the lows and I boosted the highs. Then I added some compression. After the compression, I added some drive and distortion to the ad-libs to make them pop a little bit more in the mix. Then I added some delay, Then I added a very large reverb to add to the original reverb so it can back up that ambiance. Lastly, I just added a tremolo effect. Basically what this is doing is panning the vocals between your left ear and your right ear. And overall, this is how they came out.
Can't give up. Yeah.
And one more time all together.
Yeah. Won't you get out? Get out of reality. Get out of reality.
Alright guys, thank you for watching my first in-depth mixing tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe learned something. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe down below. Leave a comment on what you want to see next. I want to continue making these videos and helping people learn how the mixing process works. That's it from me today. Have a good one. Peace.